This is the new American media.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to the Unhappy Hour. My name's Brian Engelman. I am your host. And we're going to be doing a special tomorrow. We're going to be having a fantasy football preview. Kind of tips for if you haven't ever been in a league before. And we're going to kind of talk about some of the sleepers and some of the strategies. We're going to be joined with a special guest. Just waiting to confirm the details. But that should be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So, plus the Cleveland Browns play tomorrow night, which is Saturday night. So we may have Brandon in for a Strictly Browns segment, probably on Sunday to recap what we got to see, which is hopefully another Cleveland Browns win. But we'll have to see how it goes. But I wanted to talk about this for a second, because this thing has been bothering me. Dustin Keller, Dolphins tight end. Keller was injured. Horrible leg injury. And I just want to go into this. This is off Pro Football Talk. A hit from Texans rookie safety DJ Swearinger. This is from a few days ago, but I only do this show once a week, and this has been burning because I played football, and it's that time of year where I start thinking about it. And I always hated when linemen would chop block me, would go for the knees. I mean, I've punched people. I've grabbed people by the throat after they've gone for my knees. I said, you want to play football? I'll play football. You want to do that? Hey, treat me like a punk, I'll treat you like a punk. Blow out my knee and ruin my season, I'll be damned. Hated that. Go after someone's knees. Block them like a man. So, from ProFootballTalk.com, a hit from Texans rookie safety DJ Swearinger has apparently ended the season of Dolphins tight end Dustin Keller. But Swearinger, kind of blended those two names there, but Swearinger suggested that he might not have hit Keller as low as he did had it not been for the league's emphasis on hits to the head. Quote, I was making a hit playing football, end quote. Swearinger said via Andrew Abramson of the Palm Beach Post. Quote, in this league you've got to go low. If you go high, you're going to get a fine. The rules say you can't hit high, so when I went low, and I'm sorry that happened. I would think you'd rather have more concussions than leg injuries. Leg injury, you can't come back from that. A concussion, you'd be back in a couple of weeks. End quote. Well, except for the possible long-ranging effects of what's referred to medically as mild traumatic brain trauma, or CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Remember when Chargers middle linebacker Junior Seau killed himself, and he had signs that there was CTE, and he had been acting weird, and people are saying that there's a long-term cumulative effect of being smacked around in the head. Look at boxers, look at football players, the old ones. And I've had my bell rung a few times. I don't know if I've ever had a concussion. Nothing that bad. But I have had a knee injury. I did blow out my knee. I blew out my ACL. And that put me down for a while. And that stuff is serious. Not that the head stuff isn't, but it's football and you play. But it's interesting. I mean, he dove right at his knee and just buckled the guy. Buckled Keller. Dustin Keller, out for the season. And I think it's garbage. I do not like those plays at all. You know, I think if you lead with the helmet and you blast someone helmet to helmet, you know, that's one thing, but some of these are getting real ticky-tack. I played defensive end on an undefeated team. We were used to playing well and winning, and we were coached very well, and we had good teammates. But that's part of football when you're hitting, and sometimes the helmets are going to hit, but you're not intending for that. You know, and defenseless receiver, I mean, okay, that's another issue too, but I just want to specifically talk about the knee. I think that this is garbage, and I think the league needs to instantly take a look at this and instantly consider changing the rules and the enforcement. You know, when you're finding guys that aren't making a lot of money for a hit to the head, they might go for the knees. There's no fine for a hit to the knees. And I'm telling you, I played up against some left guards, left tackles, tight ends, running backs that have chopped at my knees. Oh, and I went berserk. Coming at my knees, really? Good. While you're down there, I'm going to elbow you in the neck. Oh, we're fighting now. Okay, I thought we were playing football. Well, that was a legal play. I don't care what you call it. You don't do that to a man. You don't chop him at the knees. And I did blow somebody's knee out. It was actually the cousin of our other defensive end in the rivalry game that we had. But I didn't chop at his knees. I just went at him and tossed him, and he landed awkward, and he blew out his knee. I felt bad about it. And maybe DJ Swearinger of the Texans does feel bad about it. But I don't think it's good enough. And I know. I know when you look at these guys, the little tiny defensive backs and the big tight ends, they teach you to go low. I don't like that. Go for the midsection. Bring them down. Wrestle them. Don't chop their knee out so that they blow out an ACL, so that they totally destroy their knee to destroy a season, maybe a career. Not a fan of that. Now I'm a Browns fan, so when I don't know. I'm trying to remember exactly what the injuries were to Kellen Winslow when he wrecked his motorcycle, but that was different. I'm just thinking tight ends. I don't know that he blew out his knee, but I want to see the league. I want to see Roger Goodell immediately become proactive on this, as far as the enforcement of the incidental helmet-to-helmet contact stuff, because it's training the defensive, a lot of the players, to go for the knees. And nobody wants to see, nobody wants to see a Tom Brady or a Trent Richardson or a Calvin Johnson, or go through the league, any good player. Adrian Peterson. Nobody wants to see someone go down and lose an entire season and destroy a team's chances that season because of a knee injury. And it's up to the police. That's Roger Goodell. He's the Eric Holder of the NFL. Well, if he was the Eric Holder, he'd do selective enforcement. He'd have a ton of scandals, and he'd be trying to subvert the Constitution and the Second Amendment by brainwashing people. But I digress. But it's up to the commish, and it's up to the police, who are the referees. And this season's already going. I don't know how you would even contemplate changing the rules in the middle of this season. I mean, that's what Al Gore was saying. We need to change the rules. I won the popular vote. Well, okay, fine. Then you want to make that case. Maybe we can change the rules 4 years from now for the election. You don't change the rules in the middle of the game. So I get that. But every year they have an owners meeting, and they talk about the rules. And they talk about how to tweak the kickoff so that people aren't getting injured on the kick returns as much. And they talk about timeouts, and they talk about instant replay, and they change the rules. They review what are some other ways that we can enforce this game, and then they vote, and then they go for the next season. So I'm just putting it out there. I, Brian Engelman of the Unhappy Hour, I'm putting it out there that I would like to see the commish, Roger Goodell, instantly change this. I am open for suggestions and ideas on how, because you might say, well, how are you going to do it? Okay, man, I don't know. Don't know. But I don't want to see more plays like this. This does not make me smile as a football fan. This makes me sick to my stomach. And you're allowing it, you're encouraging it by over-enforcing the other hits. I would say it's much more dangerous to go for the knees than to make a tackle and maybe your helmet's touched. Fine, if you're leading with the helmet and you're spearing somebody, all right, there's blatant and then there's incidental stuff. Easy on the incidental, because these players are getting fined and they know it, and they're getting coached to go for the knees, and this is what happens. So I just wanted to weigh in on this. We'll be back tomorrow talking about the Cleveland Browns playing the Indianapolis Colts in Game 3. Let's see if Brandon Weeden continues to impress. See how that defense looks. First away game for the young Browns. And we'll also do a fantasy football preview. I'm in a couple of leagues this year. It's getting crazy. But I did win my league last year, so I'm a fan. I like this. It's a lot of fun. It really, fantasy football helps you follow all of the game. All of the games, all of the league, because you're rooting for somebody's defense and for somebody else's wide receiver and an arch rival. Maybe you have Ben Roethlisberger on your team and you got to root for him to do well, but you still hope the Steelers lose as a Browns fan. hope anyone in the AFC North loses. But I like fantasy football because it really keeps you engaged week to week, just constant engagement. It's a great game to play. Because we don't get on the field and play in the NFL, but on fantasy football, it's like you're there. You're engaged in so many of the games. Week to week, your opponents are different players on different teams, and you got to watch the ticker. Oh no! Drew Brees threw for a touchdown. Oh, but it went to Jimmy Graham. Yay! I got those points. It's fun. So I recommend it highly. I got a few other friends joining. I've been invited into a couple of leagues, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show. Once again, that'll be 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and probably Sunday we'll bring in Brandon to talk strictly Browns and go over the Cleveland Browns' third preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts. So until then, just want to tell you, stop going for the knees. That is chicken S. That is garbage. That is cheap. That's a cheap shot. It's garbage. I don't like seeing it. I want my football players healthy. Yeah, okay, I was just getting ready to say goodbye, but I mean, it keeps going. Brian Hartline, Dolphins receiver, says it's crap. Talking to WQAM's The Joe Rose Show regarding Swearinger's explanation about if he went high, he would draw a flag. It's crap. I mean, I think that me personally, if you're telling me, oh, I'm so worried about going high or hurting the head, you consciously went low? You consciously went low then? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I have a lot of good pros on my team, and from what they have said to me, is that there is no place for that in the game today, Hartline said. And plenty of other players feel the same way too. So, as a result, according to this, once again on Pro Football Talk, it says, as a result, we've got a feeling the NFL will eventually establish a quarterback-style strike zone for all players at all times. So, let's see. I don't like... Maybe he wasn't intentionally trying to injure him, but that's how he's been coached, and he's been coached that way because the teams have been told, hey, you can't go be careful going high, you got to go low. And I get that when you're smaller, you go low anyway. You have an easier chance. I don't necessarily believe that. You grab them, you bring them down. And I was a little guy. I mean, compared to the 6'7", 285-pound monsters I was playing up against, I was a little guy, but I made my tackles. You came near me, I grabbed you, and I brought you down. I don't care how strong you are. You're going down. Now, maybe not everyone's good at tackling. And I've been a Browns fan. I've seen horrible tackling for 15 years since they came back. After Art Modell and the Ravens stole our team. Erg. So I know what bad tackling looks like, but a good tackle does not blow out somebody's knee. So, anyway, best wishes, prayers, and a speedy recovery to Dolphins tight end Dustin Keller. And to DJ Swearinger. Yeah, I get it, it's a game. Maybe it was an accident, but man, your actions have repercussions, ramifications. So let's hope our football players stay healthy and safe throughout this season, especially the Cleveland Browns. So we'll be back with you real soon. By the way, check us out on Facebook. Search The New American Media. Like our page. Go on youtube.com/The New American Media and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of different sports shows. We also have political stuff, spiritual stuff, health stuff, a whole bunch of different videos and radio shows. Check them all out. And follow us on Twitter at American_media_. All right, take care, everyone. We'll be back soon. Peace.
You are listening to The New American Media.